All right. Welcome, 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 everybody. It is so nice to be here again this afternoon for another episode of Books, Business, and Brunch. I almost said Book Business and Beyond. Books,
I
Business, and
felt that coming.
you felt that good. I almost said Jesus, Joan, and Journal.
I would imagine why.
Oh my God. It has been a day, but I'm thanking God that we are here again. We have the ability of our limbs and we have our minds about us. And we are so excited, Leslie and I, to always come on Monday and just talk about books and business and all the things books and business. Oh, today has been an amazing day so far. So, if you're joining us for the first time, I'm Joan T. Randall. I'm the founder of Victorious You Press. I'm the creator of Books to Business and Beyond, and we help entrepreneurs and destiny helpers to write and publish their books and then leverage those books to build multiple streams of income and create legacies. So, we're all about the book business. And I'm going to turn it over to my co-host and my COO to tell a little bit about herself.
Hi, everyone. We're so glad that we are together with you today on this Monday. As Joan said, we look forward to this. It's so much fun to get together and chat for just a half an hour about all things books and business. And we dive into a little personal stuff now and then. So I'm Leslie Cottrell. I am a book writing coach and the COO at Victorious You Press. And if you're not familiar with us, we're just a little boutique publishing services company that takes great interest in taking a book and taking it to the next level. So many times books just get published, which is wonderful. Oh, it's the most exciting thing in the world. And then what happens? They just kind of sit there. So Joan has this incredible program that she developed called Books, Business, and Beyond. And it will help teach you, how can I take that book and create multiple streams of income from that? I think it's a service that goes certainly way beyond publishing because it doesn't just stop there. So it's something that we're really dedicated to, that we love fiercely and spend a lot of time talking about it with you on Mondays.
We do. And today we have a great show. I'm going to try and see if I can take off some of this background. It doesn't really matter. I was trying to make our screen bigger. Oh, that's way too big, right?
That's like, now we're in your face, everybody. Whoa. Take it away.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. You can tell we are delirious today. We are so delirious. It's been a long morning. It's been since 5:45 for me this morning. So it's been a long day already. It's half the day is already gone. But today we have a very interesting topic, right? And the topic is, and you can see it in the bottom of the intro to this video. And the topic is the role of faith in your writing journey. The role of faith in your writing journey. And we have a lot to chit chat about this, but let me just start off by saying, if you're watching me today, if you're watching me on the replay, if you're watching me in Books to Business, or you're watching me on YouTube or wherever you're watching from, I'm going to invite you to join me every morning in July at 8 a.m. for Jesus, Joan, and Journal. That is a really good, just snapshot of inspiration and what to do with the purpose that you have, right? So what is your purpose? What do you know? Who do you help your purpose? Who are the people that you're called to serve and to help, and what it is that you do to help them and how? And so we have been digging into that all of last week, and we started this week with a whole new theme. And the theme this week is about faith in action, basically, right? And so it aligns with the topic of Books, Business, and Brunch today about the role of faith in your writing journey. But one of the things that I wanted to share about faith is that faith first comes by hearing. Right? Faith first comes by hearing, and then hearing by the word of the Lord. And the scripture I used this morning when I did Jesus, Joan, and Journal, I think I got it from James. I think it was James 2 and verse 17, And it literally says, basically, I'm just kind of putting it together as my own my own copy of what it is that faith without works is dead. Literally, you can have all the faith in the world, but if you don't take the action with it, then is dead, right? So we are talking about active faith, and it's the same with your writing journey. There is a level of faith that goes into writing, and I always say this, that when you write, there's a spiritual transformation that happens. First of all, you won't forget, right? And I keep saying that our mind or soul is the enemy's playground, because your soul is your mind, your will, and your emotion. And if you're not careful, your mind, your will, and your emotion can be distracted by, spiritual forces, right? So when you think about something, when you get a download, if it's a book and you want to write it, put it somewhere, put it on a paper, put it in your notes, in your phone, but write it somewhere. Speak in your phone so it can type it, right? But now there's so many tools that we have where you're not physically using a pen to write, but don't just keep it here, because that will disappear. You will forget it. No matter how you think you're young and you will always retain things, it is not possible for you to retain every download that you get, right? So you should always write it down. Hey, Jacob, it's nice to see you. Hey, Apostle, it is so great to see you. Thank you for joining. So, Leslie, I want you to take it from here about your thoughts on the role of faith in your writing journey.
I had a couple of things that came to mind when we were talking about covering this today. And 4 words actually came to mind: foundational, facilitate, fathomless, and far reaching.
Wow.
So, foundationally, when you develop your written communication skills as a statement of your faith, it increases both your writing skills and your depth of faith, and they
Wow.
grow exponentially when you're using them together. And of course, many times what you write privately as an exercise later on becomes a foundation for something much greater, much bigger. And if you tuned in, I think it was last week, we were talking about don't ever throw away what you write. Make sure that you keep it, because you'll find, again, as Joan said, you can't remember everything that comes to mind. You can't remember everything that's important to you, because the brain naturally starts to sift things out. But if you have books and books and books of musings and writings and journaling and devotions, you will find yourself going back to that later, and it may become the foundation for something that you can delve into much more deeply. And the second word that I was thinking of is facilitate. So writing as a part of that spiritual practice can facilitate new ideas that would never have come to you as ways to be in service to others. May not actually always be in the form of a published work. It might be an idea for a class that you want to teach live, which you will, of course, be writing down before you teach it live, or for a journal, or maybe it will come to you as an exercise that you want to do with your children. We aren't necessarily talking always about a formal path to publication. Of course, it's very important, but there's so much that can happen before you ever get to that point. That's also very, very important for you. Fathomless is the next word that I was thinking of. And just building your faith into your writing can take you to depths spiritually that you can't imagine in your mind on a secular level. You're bringing the supernatural into your everyday life when you are using this as a way to increase your faith and learn more about your faith and grow in your faith. You're developing your faith muscles when
Yeah.
you do.
I was going to say, I love that. I love that whole posture of the faith muscles. I absolutely love that, right? And bringing in the supernatural to the natural. How beautiful is that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. And then the last word I was thinking, excuse me, take it.
You want me to take it away until you're done? Okay. And so Leslie will come back with her last word that she was talking about. And as I was listening to her, I'm reminded of a show that I was on last night. A friend of mine had a podcast and she invited me on the podcast. And it was to talk about my book, my memoir that I wrote, Bags in the Attic. And here's the thing about that. I said to Leslie today, I said, I don't know when people are going to, not invite me to speak about it, right? Because it happened so long ago. The book was published in 2020, but there are waves of moment when people are hearing about it for the first time and are reading it and it surfaces again. And I was saying to Leslie that there is a level of faith that went into writing that book. And there is a level of faith that continues as I talk about it, because faith is an action word. And had I not written a book that I felt ashamed of, people wouldn't be buying it 4 years later or still want to talk about it. And what was so profound last night was the person who interviewed me on the podcast. She saw her mother in my story, right? So the reason why my story resonated with her was at 10 years old, she remembered her mom being beaten by her father. And she said she would sit up at night and wonder if this is the night that he's going to kill her, or if this is the night when our mom will no longer be alive, right? And so that touched my heart, like to the depths, because although she went through her stuff with her marriage and it was more emotional, but to know, and she's a little bit older than me, but to know that my book took her back to when she was a child, and because of my book, she understood what her mother experienced, because she told me prior to the show that they really don't talk about it, her and her mother. And there's a lot of things that her mother blocked. So there are things that our mother don't even remember about her life as an abused wife. But through reading my book, this host was able to understand at least what her mom was going through because I wrote it, right? And that again is the whole journey of faith in your writing. Can you imagine you overcoming some things or learning some things or having a gift or having a skill and writing it, like having the faith to write and publish it, and then it gets into the hand of someone who it delivers them, it sets them free, it makes them understand about themselves or about a loved one. I think that's why it is so powerful to put pen to paper. Oh, thank you so much. Apostle said I did a fabulous job last night. Thank you, Apostle. And I want to say hello to Lorna coming in from London, UK this afternoon. Nice to see you, Lorna.
So that is so interesting, Joan, that you went to that place, because my last thought was far reaching.
Wow, look at that.
We always manage to do that with one another. But she said it so beautifully. You never know where your words are going to go and who they're going to touch, whose lives they're going to change.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, everyone.
It's okay. No worries.
So what begins as a private reflection that you are utilizing for your own spiritual growth may literally change someone's life down the road. Yeah. So don't ever minimize your jottings, your little thoughts here and there, because the Lord will use them in ways that we just can't fathom.
Yeah, absolutely. And that also brings to mind what we're working on, our new project, right? The Second Wind. And for those of you, I may have said this last week, but I'm going to say it again. The whole concept of the second wind was God giving you another wind, another rush of wind after you feel like your life came to a halt for some reason, right? Death, divorce, a child getting ill, you getting ill, and God just turn your life, right? And so you live the first half of your life or the first part of your life. And this is not age related either. The second one has nothing to do with age, but you live the first portion of your life going, just surviving, not even surviving, just going through the motion, just going through the motion of life as a mother, as a daughter, as a caregiver, whatever it is, right? And then something happened and there's a pause, there's a lull, and it makes you wonder, Lord, this is not the only, this, there got to be more to me than this. There has to be more to me than this. This could not be, this is not just it, right? You promised me some things, Lord. Where is it, right? And you realize in that moment that there's a new shift. There's a shift. Either the shift happened because you know that you have enough faith to know that there is more to you, or the shift happened because you were forced into it, or the shift happened because you were intentional in making it happen. And you're now, here I am, right? My kids are grown. I'm an empty nester. It's me alone. I retired from my job, or I need to do something else, or I don't like this job anymore. It is not serving me. I am very unhappy and I'm going to walk out my purpose, right? So whatever it is, the second win is we want to feature women who have had this epiphany, who have had this new lease on life, who have had this resurgence of life, and now are walking much more boldly, much more steadfast, much more upright, owning their power, filled with courage, filled with gumption, filled with gravita, and know that this is it. This is what I was called to do, and I feel really good. So if you're watching this, or if you're watching the replay, and you would like to be a part of the second wind, yes, there's an investment, right? Because you're writing a book. And if the book wins an award, you win the award. If the book gets on the best-selling list, you get on the best-selling list. And you get the opportunity to use your chapter and build on it, right? So yes, there is an investment. But if you are watching this or watching the replay and want to be a part of the journey of writing 2,000 to 2,500 words in a chapter in the second wind, please reach out to me, let me know, and we would be happy to have you as a part of that project.
And everything that you were just talking about all comes back to movement.
Yeah.
Taking action.
Yep.
And from an energetic perspective, energy movement begets movement. You have to start. And if you have been through something that just cut you to the bone, you know that the hardest thing to do after you've suffered some sort of a setback is to start moving again. We always, we implode, right? And we want to go to bed. We want to pull the covers over our head. We want to check out for a while. And honestly, there's nothing wrong with that, because there's a certain amount of recalibration that takes place when you do that. But that has to be a temporary state of being. And you need to take even the tiniest of steps to start to build things back in your life again. And it may be the step of agreeing to be part of this movement. Really, this is an anthology, but I consider it a movement.
Yeah.
Taking that step, saying yes to that, to share your story with someone else, not just for the sake of telling the story, but because your words will resonate with someone that will understand it like I couldn't or Joan couldn't, but there'll be somebody out there that will be touched and changed because they see themselves in the story that you've had the boldness to tell. I can't recommend enough how much anthologies change lives. You may think, it's just one chapter, but it's all those chapters together that give you story after story after story. In this case, of reclamation, of putting your life back together again, of finding new purpose, new definition. Why? Because you started with one step, and then you took the second step, and then you took the third step.
You know what is so amazing about this journey? And one of the things I sit back and I think about all the books that I've written or been a part of, whether it's through anthology or writing it on my own or whatever. I think second one would be number 15 because I've been in quite a number of anthologies, some that I paid to be in, some that I did myself, right? The one thing I can say is that I'm so proud of myself for just starting, like just starting, just deciding that, I'm going to put a book out. I just don't know where it's going to go, but I'm going to put a book out. And it's 14 books in. You know what I mean? And it's amazing that I can give them away now, right? I could give them away for free. But I think last night when I listened to the host of that podcast, and for her to say, your book changed my life. Your book made me see my mother in a different way. I cannot even tell you how that made me feel.
Yeah.
My book allowed her to see her mother in a different light because her mother ran away with her and her brother and sister when she was 10, which is kind of like the same age that I left my husband with Kay, right? With my oldest daughter. So she knew the abuse. She saw the abuse, right? She saw all of it. And so being able to have that book where she could read Kay's, because Kay wrote in the book as well, right? And then as she was reading the book, she was seeing her mother in me. And now she had a better understanding of what she must have been going through, why she decided to pick up her kids and run from the United Kingdom to Jamaica.
Yeah.
As soon as the man went to work. Her father went to work, and the mother picked up her brother, and her sister, packed their stuff, and her aunt had bought 3 one-way tickets to Jamaica, and that was how her mother left her father.
Oh my.
I know, right?
What a story.
Yeah. And she said her father never got over it. Like he never got over it because, you know what I mean? But her mother did the right thing. But she said it's hard to get our mother to open up. So in reading my story, she's seen herself. And that's the power of writing. It's having the faith. First of all, faith is, the Bible says faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So faith, you don't see it. It's not like this cup that I'm drinking tea from, right? You can't see it. You feel it. It's something you feel. It's something you know. It comes by hearing, and then it comes by the word of God. And if you're a believer, then you know that faith is something that you cannot see, but you wholeheartedly believe in what you're believing in, right? And so to be able to put something on paper that happened to you, like this happened to me, oh my God, it's almost 30 years ago, right? It would be 30 years that I ran away from the whole situation, right? So it did happen more than 30 years ago because it was all through Shay. Shay's 33 and it was happening before Shay was born, right? So to know that you put pen on paper and 30 something years later, someone is saying that now I get what my mother was going through is mind blowing.
It is. What a gift you gave her.
It's mind blowing. Mind blowing.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's all we have today. Anything else you want to share, Leslie? We do have our webinar coming up, Wrote by Me. It's coming up on July the 17th. I think it's next week.
It is. Wow.
Wednesday at 6. Yeah. We're so excited. We have almost 40 people registered already, which is so good, right? We want to teach you how to market your book so that you can keep your profits in your pocket and not give away all of your royalties to the book stores and companies, because I don't know if you're aware, but royalties for Amazon is like 40%. 40% of whatever the cost of your book is, you're getting back, right? If you do expanded distribution, you only get 40%. If you don't do expanded distribution, I think the royalty is 60%, but your book only stays in the Amazon world, right? Which most people want their books to be expanded distribution, but you get less of a royalty when it's expanded. So there's all these tricks to this whole thing, right? So the best thing for you to do if you're an author, if you wrote a book, is sell your book yourself. Sell it on your website, sell it on your landing page. And this is what we want to show you. We teamed up with the Django Degree, who built this incredible engine called Wrote by Me, and outfitted the engine behind the scenes for it to operate specifically for authors. So we're excited about that product. We're excited to partner with him to bring it to you. And of course, Leslie and I will be talking about the marketing piece and some of the things that you can do to really get your business out there. You don't want to only rely on social media, right? Because you don't own it. But there's so many things that you own that you can have control of, and will be able to sell more than 250 books in the lifetime of the book. And so we'll talk about that. And then Django will talk about the engine Wrote by Me and what it does and how, and all the good stuff. So if you're watching me today, if you're watching the replay, and if you would like or have an interest in being a part of the webinar, it is free. So you can click on the link in the chat down here in the bottom where it says click more. And then you'll see the link for Wrote by Me. And I think that's all we have, right, Leslie? Anything else to wrap?
One of the most exciting things about that, I think, is going to be the information that you will have at your disposal if you have a Wrote by Me site. You'll be able to capture the emails of the people that buy your book. Now, you're never going to get that on Amazon. It's nice that you get a royalty, but you don't have any information that goes along with it. You're not building your fan base. You're not building your email list by the books that you sell on Amazon. And I think having that at your disposal is maybe more powerful than anything else. Very exciting to me to be able to capture that information.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I totally agree with you. And we can't wait to show it to you. All right. And so I think that's all we have today here from Leslie and I at Books, Business, and Brunch. We hope that you enjoyed this episode, and we will be back next week. I think our episode next week is building a legacy through writing. I think that's what we're going to be talking about next week. How do you build a legacy through writing, right? So I'm hoping that you like all the tips and the tools and all of the resources and education that we bring to you on this book journey. And don't forget to follow our YouTube channel. Please, please, please. We love you. All right, that's all from us. And don't forget that a pen creates an indelible moment in time that can never be erased. So keep writing. God bless you. See you guys. Bye.